talking of leaky ships, more footage has been leaked by the Italian authorities from the CCTV system on board Bayesian. It's been leaked to a TV show in Italy called Quarta Repubblica. They were the same TV show that released the footage of the divers, which was also leaked footage, right? The divers who were diving on Bayesian, which we showed you in the past. Now, I would imagine the MAIB, the Marine Accident Investigation Branch, who have been doing an investigation because the boat was registered in the UK, I would imagine they've seen this footage. It does corroborate a lot of what was in the report, so it's probable that they saw this footage. Now, the footage was recovered from a DVR that was on board the yacht. It would have been on the bridge. It would have been an independent unit, that's been type approved to be on board that vessel. Now, the way the CCTV is powered, it's powered through the ship's systems, the generators. So once the power was cut to that system and the emergency batteries came on, the CCTV would have gone offline. But also once it went underwater as well, that would have been the end of those cameras. The footage is from these two cameras here that you can see on the mast. They have two cameras, one for port side and one for starboard side. It's standard operating procedure to have one pointing towards the stern and one pointing forwards whilst at sea, and then switching one of them to where the tender operations are carried out during that period. Now, in this first footage here, you can see the tender in the water, and you can see it's on the whips. Those whips are to hold the tender in place. And then you can also see the extended pasarelle lower down where the arrow is pointing. Now, when they pulled the boat out of the water, I noted that the pasarelle was extended on the starboard side, and I mentioned it in a video saying that it's unlikely that it would have been moved underwater because it's hydraulic and it wouldn't have been operated underwater. A few comments saying hydraulics could work underwater. Missing my point, really. The point is that once the boat was underwater, there would be no reason to operate that pasarelle, so it was most likely open when the boat sank. Well, the video footage from the CCTV proves that the pasarelle was already down that day. You can see here in the boat, in the tender, there's a couple of crew members operating that boat. And we switch to the port side camera, and it's pointing towards the stern. You can also see some artifacts in this video because it's obviously been corrupted being underwater for so long. So now we switch to 3:50 a.m. This is 15 minutes before the boat sank. You can see the wind is picking up here, and you can see on the left there, you can see the boom, which we saw recovered on the live feed. That was the first thing they recovered. You can see here footage of it being recovered. Now, on the starboard side, you can see that the tender has been put away. The whip is there. The pasarelle is still in position, but there's no tender, which has probably been put away in the tender garage. Now we can see the wind is really starting to pick up now, and we get to 3:59, which is about 7 minutes before the vessel sank. We can see the awning on the flybridge there really rustling around. You could see that the wind must be around 30 plus knots at this moment, and there's rain, heavy seas. In the MAIB report, it says at 0400, deckhand 2 ran below to wake the skipper. It appears we can see this happening on the camera here. I think that's the starboard side camera. It looks like to be heading aft. Okay, it's a full-on storm now. This is starboard side. If we switch back to the port side camera, you can see that the awning is ripped off the flybridge there. We've been told by a reliable source that the flybridge awning was rated to 50 knots. Now you can see the awning flapping around in the wind there, things being thrown around on the deck. 4:05, just seconds before the boat turns over. This is the starboard side camera, and you can see that the vessel gets hit by massive winds, and then you can see the lights are still on, by the way. Please note that the lights are still on. And then you can clearly see the camera is underwater just for a couple of seconds there before the power is cut. You see there on the port side, the lights are still on, contrary to a lot of talk at the time that there'd been a blackout. There has not been a blackout until the boat flipped over, and you can clearly see it again there. The camera is underwater for a few seconds until the power does go out to those cameras. Once the generators went out, the CCTV would have stopped working, and the emergency power would not have been sent to those cameras. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments about the CCTV footage. I think it's pretty compelling, showing the boat flipping over, how quickly it seemed to have happened. And like I said, that footage would have gone, that would have been the last that it recorded. As soon as the boat flipped over, the generators would have stopped operating and the emergency batteries would have taken over, but they would have only powered things that were critical. And that's not one of those things. So that's why they would have stopped, even if they were waterproof, which they're probably not. Hi, thanks very much for watching this video. If you want to see the full news videos, click on the link over here. And if you'd like to find the channels, you can find the links below here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.